Our next speaker is Ashling O'Brien from Atheist Ireland.
Justice Lavoy, citizens of the Assembly, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak here today. Atheist Ireland was founded in 2008. We are a voluntary body with no paid staff. We receive no government funds or grants. Atheist Ireland is a member of the Coalition to Repeal the Eighth Amendment. We've adopted a pro-choice, human rights-based stance on abortion. Today I will explain why a faith-based view on abortion holds no greater authority than a non-religious or secular view. Faith is only one way in which people form their ethics and morality. Irish people have different ethics and morality when it comes to abortion. The state has a duty to protect individual moral conscience. We should formulate evidence-based legislation in line with the highest standard of maternal health care practice and human rights. There is no doubt that the Eighth Amendment is religiously inspired. The pro-life campaign in 1983 was made up of several groups, including the Congress of Catholic Secondary School Parents Association, the Irish Catholic Doctors Guild, the Guild of Catholic Nurses, the Catholic Young Men's Society, St. Joseph's Young Priests Society, the Christian Brothers Schools Parents Federation, and the Council of Social Concern. But this religiously inspired view of abortion holds less moral authority than a secular view, because it is opinion-based rather than evidence-based. In a secular, pluralist democracy, people are free to hold whatever religious beliefs they wish, but they do not have the right to impose those religious views on women who do not share those same values. Most Irish people know that the human right to freedom of religion protects the rights of people with a religious conscience. But this human right goes further than that. It is actually the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This means it also protects the conscience of atheists, the non-religious, and those who do not base their conscience on religious teachings. The current Irish abortion law does not respect freedom of conscience. Many Irish people assume that ethics and morality can only be based on a religious value system. However, this is not the case. Religious-based morality comes from commandments in holy books, dogma, traditions, and from the authority of religious leaders. There are 126 different religious traditions in Ireland, each with their own supposedly revealed moral values. Secular morality is not based on any of these factors. Secular morality is evidence-based, involves critical thought, is focused on the reduction of harm and the increase of well-being, and is grounded in human rights. The A, B and C case, the Irish state claimed that the Eighth Amendment is a reflection of the profound moral values deeply embedded in the fabric of Irish society. However, different Irish people have different moral values when it comes to abortion. For many Irish people, both atheist and religious, abortion is against their moral conscience. No one with this belief should ever be pressurised into having an abortion. For other Irish people, denying women access to abortion is deeply against our conscience, as it denies women bodily autonomy, increases the risk of harm, and decreases their well-being. The Irish state talks as if it were a settled moral value that abortion should be illegal. There are issues and moral values which have been settled in Western democracies, such as unprovoked assault or robbery. But abortion is different for two reasons. Firstly, there is no settled consensus that abortion is morally wrong. And secondly, there is even less support for the idea that abortion should be illegal or that women who have abortions should be criminalised. In order to protect these supposed profound moral values of Irish society, which are actually only the moral values of some in our society, the Eighth Amendment denies access to abortion to all Irish women, including those who have different moral values. The religious moral argument on abortion makes a number of assertions that must be challenged. For example, in their submission to this Assembly, the Irish Catholic Bishops' Conference discusses life-limiting conditions and fatal fetal abnormalities, although they wrongly conflate the two. They argue that, despite the diagnosis of a fatal fetal abnormality, a woman should always have to carry a pregnancy to its natural conclusion, be that miscarriage or birth. They argued this despite acknowledging the distress that such a diagnosis causes. Please read the submission made to this Assembly by Terminations for Medical Reasons. These women and couples have personal experiences of having to travel to access abortion services after receiving a diagnosis of a fatal fetal abnormality. Their real-life pain stands in stark contrast to the theology of the Catholic bishops. Atheist Ireland respects that the choice to carry a pregnancy is right for those who choose to. But the Catholic bishops do not respect that, while complex and painful, the choice to terminate is the right decision for others. Legislation based on a morality that forces a woman to continue a pregnancy with a fatal fetal abnormality against her conscience is grossly unjust, cruel, and inhuman. Such morality undermines the dignity of women and causes untold distress in an already most difficult of circumstances. We welcome the General Synod of the Church of Ireland that they recognise that the Constitution is not the place to be dealing with matters of healthcare. However, they consider abortion only to be permitted in cases of undeniable medical necessity. Atheist Ireland believes this approach is too limited and will not address all circumstances where a woman will consider an abortion. But at least the Church of Ireland recognises that the Constitution is not the place to address this complex healthcare issue. This distinction also highlights the lack of consensus between different religious moral approaches to abortion. The Iona Institute is registered as a charity for the purpose of advancement of religion. In their submission, they claim that the pro-choice argument ignores the humanity of the fetus. This is not the case. The pro-choice argument acknowledges that a fetus has human DNA. It is biologically a potential human person. However, unlike a fetus, a pregnant woman is not only human, but a human person. The difference is between biology and biography. A fetus is biologically human, but does not have biography. A woman, on the other hand, has biography. She has hopes, aspirations, and plans. She has friends and family. She loves and is loved. She has people in her life who rely on her. She has experiences and memories. She has autonomy and rights. She has personhood. The humanity of each woman must be recognised and protected. A woman does not forfeit her biography once she is pregnant, and she cannot be devalued as a mere vessel or incubator. I will summarise with 5 points. 1. The state should not impose laws on all citizens based only on the conscience of religious people. It should enable everyone to act in accordance with their own conscience, whether that conscience is religious or non-religious. 2. Regardless of how individuals arrive at their own moral view on abortion, access to abortion is a healthcare issue. We have dealt with no other healthcare issues in our Constitution. That is because we understand that the Constitution is not the place to deal with matters of health. 3. Atheist Ireland requests that the citizens should not only recommend that a referendum on the 8th Amendment is held as soon as possible, but that it should not be replaced by any alternative wording. The 8th Amendment should be repealed, not replaced. 4. Only a full repeal of the 8th Amendment will allow the Oireachtas to properly formulate legislation in line with the highest standard of maternal health care practice, human rights, and the best available empirical evidence, while respecting the freedom of conscience of all our citizens. And 5. Anything less than a full repeal will simply result in us having to return to this issue over and over in the future. And unfortunately, based on past experience, that will happen after another high-profile personal tragedy. Please do not allow that to happen again. Thank you.